Hit it.
The Blues Brothers, starring Dan Aykroyd and Jim Belushi, are coming to San Antonio on Friday, August 5th for one night only.
What do you want for nothing? Arrababisquita.
This historic concert event celebrates their 40th anniversary tour. All tickets are on sale now at pmxevents.com.
Hey! Come on now!
Don't miss your chance to see this dynamic show, The Blues Brothers, presented by PMX Events.
All right, let's roll on to 4A Division 1, where we've got a few different things to talk about here. A few different things to talk about. Four of us like the same state champion. The number one team in the state, the China Spring Cougars, the reigning 4A Division 2 state champions, making the move up. They have that kind of signature win over Stephenville a couple of weeks ago. We all like them in Region 2, and four of us like them to win the state championship, but not five of us.
Yeah. I personally like Jeff Reardon, so I don't know.
You don't know about y'all. Ish said,
first.
"Hey, don't I get J's if I pick him?"
Anyway, so let's make one thing clear. I picked Chapel Hill, Coach Reardon, so I don't know about these guys. My thing is here.
Now, you just saw him, right?
What?
Did you?
No,
he didn't go.
That was
Stepped
Steps on. So
I thought Roach and all them were there.
This is a team that's. Yes, they stumbled in the regular season a little bit, right? They didn't
First
look
two
as,
out of
right,
the gates.
First two out of the gates were like, oh, geez. Gilmer, whatever, sure, fine. But they lose to Van. You're like, okay, what is this the team we thought they would be? I think this is a team that's been, for better or worse, since the last snap of last year's game where they lost to LBJ. They were trying to get back to that opportunity, and I think that in August they were thinking about November, and that's, to me, this is still a young team, probably a team a year away from being their absolute best, but I think this is a team that has the highest ceiling of any team in this classification, if I'm being honest. Also potentially the lowest floor. They could also go out pretty early if things just don't fall right. If the early season the early version of them was the version that they are, they could absolutely get upset in the early rounds, but I'm going with the high ceiling. I'm going with the athleticism, the athletes they have there. I just think they've been thinking about this time of year for about a year now.
They are so young.
Yes.
And they are so young, and they are so home run heavy.
Oh, yeah.
That is both their greatest asset and their greatest downfall.
Sure.
Is that if the home runs aren't hitting, I don't know if they can grind out a team. Do you know what I mean? I have some concerns about their defense, but at the same time, they will be the most explosive team in every game they play.
Yes.
Yeah, they'll be the most explosive team in every game they play. And so the question is, does that win out?
Well, and that's what because I watched the entirety of that Chapel Hill Kilgore game on Texan Live, Dave Campbell's Texan Live. Subscribe. But the thing that worried me was the offensive line, because there were back-to-back plays where they would look like the most dominant unit on that front, and then the next play they would give up some crazy sack in it. So the inconsistency there is what scares me.
Yeah.
Well, I don't fully trust that quarterback either. I mean, during that Kilgore game, there were a couple of turnovers that I thought were not.
Yeah, and that's the youth coming into play.
He has 10 picks, right? He's a sophomore. He's still a sophomore. Ricky Stewart, of course, another one of their dynamic sophomores. 1,500 yards rushing on the year. Like I said, I think this is the high. Again, I mentioned it. High ceiling, low floor. Though, right?
Yeah.
There's a big variance.
There's a big variance. If they play to their paper 6 times, they're going to win a state championship.
Sure.
Plain and simple. I think there's an argument they're the most talented team in the bracket. So let's bounce up to Region 1. Region 1, the four of us here, the smart people here, the Americans, like Brownwood. Brownwood to win the region. I think that that Stephenville loss, I think, woke them up. And I think that they went out there and they figured some things out. Most especially, they figured things out really defensively since then. And I think they've been rolling. Another thing about them, this is just a small thing, they had a Week 11 open date, and I think that matters. Heading into there, I think that they're the favorites. Steps rolling with Decatur in Region 1, which is...
I think it's the other team. If you would look at the top 2 teams in that region, I probably would pencil those 2 in.
Yeah, Brownwood and Decatur. If you're looking for a third, it's probably El Paso Riverside.
Wichita Falls.
Wichita Falls. Dub the Coyote. Dub the Coyote.
They've been rolling.
Yeah, for sure. They're brimming with confidence right now. But I would say that Brownwood, maybe Decatur are there. We're in lockstep on Region 2. Region 2, we all took China Spring. I do think it's amazing how they've just put Cash McCollum in there and changed and a new coach.
Yeah.
And the offense has continued to hum. Their defense is pretty good too. I don't know if it's quite as good as it was last year, but that's a really high bar.
Yeah.
Right. So then we get to Region 3. And y'all are all rolling with Chapel Hill. We've talked at length about Chapel Hill. allow me to tell you the good news of the Lumberton Raiders, okay? James Reyes, I've been on Lumberton for a while now. I think Lumberton's really good. They've got one loss on the year. It was to Houston St. Thomas, who is a state-ranked private school team. But this team is humming, and their offense is fun to watch. They have got a lot of different playmakers out there that can beat you in a variety of different ways. This junior quarterback, Lucas Powell, has been fantastic. They've got a 1,000-yard running back in Jaden Ward. This offense is humming. They're brimming with confidence, and I know it's not all about the draw, but I think that they got a pretty good draw. They would get Chapel Hill in the regional semifinals. That would be like the real big test. And at that point, they'd probably run into a team like El Campo, which is crazy. We haven't even mentioned a team like El Campo.
I was about to say that. Speaking of teams with slow starts, right? They were a team that really started off slow. But, again, if it's just the Ruben Owens show.
Yeah. I mean,
he could be, again, he could just decide to turn it on and
run for 400 yards a game.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's wild, like you mentioned. Now that you mentioned it, I didn't realize we haven't even mentioned
Well, and here's the funny thing: we're probably going to get El Campo and Kilgore in the second round of the playoffs,
and that is a tasty matchup.
That's a really, really fun matchup, and we'll kind of help shape the rest of the bracket.
Wins.
That's right. To Region 4 we go, and Region 4 again. I do think that I'm glad this is split the way that it is. That it's basically 50-50. You can't be 50-50 with 5 picks, I know, but it's split down the middle.
The math don't be mathing.
Math don't be mathing that way. Where 3 of us, Step, Ish, and Mallory, are taking Bernie, and 2 of us, Pickle and Tepper, are taking Cal Allen. Those are, in my opinion, the clear 2 best teams in Region 4.
Yeah. I think I told you about this on the bracketology video. I have a theory about Cal Allen. Mm-hmm. They have been opening up the offense. I know the past couple years they've been spreading it out a little bit more. They still ran the ball, but they opened up the formation a little bit. This year they're definitely reverted more to a spread-oriented offense. Mm-hmm. I think that's more in line with what a team like Bernie has seen consistently all year. And I think the difference maker for Cal Allen has been in the past that offense that grinded teams into dust. And we saw them almost get a state championship out of it against Aledo when Aledo didn't know how to stop the offense. I wonder if now they're just another really good spread team that Bernie's like, oh, we've seen this before.
Interesting.
Right?
Yeah.
So that's my theory. When they get out of that Coastal Bend region, if they play it. Now, granted, that's still probably, what is that, a regional final?
That'll be a regional final.
So, sure, that's still me saying they'll probably make a regional final. But at that point, then I wonder about their top end ceiling against a team like Bernie, who's like, oh, this is like an offense that we can watch. Like, look back on what South Oak Cliff had to do with Liberty Hill, right? It's like, oh, we got to find film on this team because we never played. Bernie's like, oh, we'll just throw on the whatever film because this is a similar offense to what we've seen before.
Yeah, and then I think it's Jackson Bays. Is that the name of the quarterback?
Yes.
There's 2. There are 2 Bays.
There's 2
kids.
Bayses.
Yeah.
One of them.
One's a receiver.
One's a receiver. Yeah. The older one's the receiver.
But this sophomore quarterback for Bernie's been really good. A lot to like about them. Their defense has really I think rounded into form recently, and they've been very, very strong. The other team I want to make sure we mention here, because I think they can ruin some seasons, including Cal Allen's in the second round. San Antonio Davenport.
Yeah, first-year team.
First-year team.
They've got
Shaston Golden.
Yeah, Shaston Golden.
That dude's a bad man. He's a bad man.
Which honestly, if you want to go to what Ish was saying, which I totally see his point there, I still think the Cal Allen defense is just too much for a team like Bernie, but we'll get a really good glimpse of that with Davenport. If they go out there and absolutely shut down Davenport, then I don't have any doubt that they could shut down a team like Bernie. But that'll be a good sample size to see.
Most certainly. So there it is, our 4A Division I picks. Ish likes Chapel Hill. The remainder of us like China Spring. Should be a lot of fun. You know what's funny? We didn't even mention the defending 4A Division I state champs in Stephenville, which is crazy.
Yeah.
They're just
crazy.
Not.
I mean, I think our defense, like the
they're
defense,
the cardiac kids.
Here's the thing. They're gonna get a second round matchup with Anna. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and that'll
tough.
really tell the tale.
Yeah.
But that defense, we've been
can
waiting
stop
for that defense to come around, and it just kind of hasn't. So it's very interesting. Anyway, that's our 4A Division I picks. You can find complete coverage of the 2022 Texas High School Football Playoffs at texasfootball.com/playoffs.